Why the Owners Club is essential. Hello, my name is John Butt. This is the Marketing for Owners podcast. This is episode, let me look, 552. This is daily, Monday to Friday. It's great, if I don't say so myself, because it's my show and I can say. This is a special episode. Today, on the day this is published, of course, you may be listening to this years later, or you may be an alien catching it about 300 years later, in which case you missed this, sorry. But today is the opening of the Owners Club Gold level. Now, I want to tell you why it's essential. So, in effect, this is sort of an advert, so I'm being really upfront, but it's my show, I can say what I like. I won't be long, don't worry. It's sort of an advert, but it's not a big sell. You know, when you go on those webinars and at the end it says, well, with all this added together, this is a total value of $58,000, but I'm not going to sell it for that. Not even 20, not even 10. It's going to be $99. No, none of that. So let me explain. When I started in business, I know, old bloke, long time ago, I didn't actually start in business. I was self-employed, right? So let's get one thing straight. A lot of people, a lot of you may be being convinced you're an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, right? Being an entrepreneur is not a job. It's not a job title. It's a thing. It's a thing once you have experience, really. I mean, you can convince, you can say what you like, but most people who say they are entrepreneurs are simply people who do not have a job and don't have any money. Honestly. Right. So I was self-employed. I worked along, I plodded along, and then I decided to start my own business. I was doing exactly the same thing. So one day I'm self-employed, another day I have a business title doing the same thing. I was no different. I knew nothing. I had no friends who had their own businesses. Everyone had jobs. None of my family had businesses. None of my extended family. I mean, I'm not including those who were also self-employed. So my brother was a carpenter. In the UK, we call him a chippy. My uncles, and in fact, even my stepdad, all tended to be carpenters. No, don't know why. It's not like a family of carpenters, just coincidence. But they were self-employed. They just worked job to job. So I had no influences. So I plodded along. I did what I did. I didn't make any money. Well, no, actually saying that, I made good money, but I then spent it all. I had no idea what to do with it. When I went into business and then I had expenses and I had an office and things like that, then I didn't make any money, because at every point where I got busy, I had to employ someone to do the work that I was then having to do so that I could go and get more customers. Right? So, and then when I got too many customers, I couldn't cope. I had to employ someone else. Every time I got to profit, I had to employ someone and give all my salary away. So I looked at other ways of doing it. I modelled the big companies and it suddenly became successful. But when you build a successful company, you have to spend money. You have to borrow it from banks. You have to get stock to sell it, because the people who pay you are going to pay you way later. This is the old days. Anyway, it goes all on. There was nobody to give advice. I had to learn. I had to test, figure it out, make it work. I made good money, but running a business wasn't enjoyable and I sold it. This is way back in 2003. I imagine most of you weren't even born in 2003. Oh, were you? Am I working that out wrong? So I then decided I'd never do this kind of thing again. I actually wrote down I'd never employ staff, I'd never have an office, I'd never buy stock, I'd never work hours. I wrote that down. I lost that because I quickly forgot it. The entrepreneurial type of mind, you know, all the ideas buzzing around of what you could do next, works hard and fast. So I learnt online how to do it, because that's easy. It seems easy. It sounds easy. You don't have to do anything with online. But this was back in 2004. A few years later, I accidentally started another fire safety business. That is a whole other story. If you want to know how on earth someone accidentally starts a business, then Get me on a call and I'll tell you all about it. Seriously, I had no plans to do this again. But after a year, it did extremely well. This time though, I had learnt all the hard lessons. It had taken me 20 years to get to the point where I sold it. Actually 19 years and 9 months, or 11 months, nearly 20 years to get to that point when I sold my business. To get to the same level of turnover took me 2. Less than 2 actually, but let's say 2. Because I had then learned that you learn from experience, you learn from others, you ask questions, and you find out. The best way to get on in a business is to get outside of your little world, outside of your little mini world. Don't ask everyone who's close to you, but ask others who can look in from the outside independently, who can give you solid advice. Don't ask yes men. Don't ask your family. Don't say, oh, what do you think of this new website? And they'll go, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, well done you. You want people who say, yeah, have you considered, and what about that? Look at so-and-so's site. They don't do it like that and they're very successful. You want that kind of advice because you don't want to waste 20 years. So fast forward, I still don't like the term entrepreneur, I have to admit. I own various businesses and I do okay. Now, in amongst this, one of the more important things I learned was how to make my business not dependent on me. Years ago, I read The E-Myth, and once I read that, that just clicked. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber is still, for me, the absolute must-read book of any small business owner. In fact, larger business owners as well. I don't care if you're just starting or if you've been in business for 20 years, just read it. It will open your eyes. That's another thing. Until I'd read that, I had never, ever read a business book. I have read gazillions since. Who knew? But what I learned in that was my business didn't have to be the horrible one that I didn't like, and so I had to sell it. That's why I sold it, because I didn't like running that business. It made loads of money. I didn't like it. Yeah, if it's not enjoyable, why do it? You got a whole life ahead of you. So I sold it. The E-Myth taught me how to do it differently. So I no longer run my business. I mean, technically I do. I'm in charge. I know everything that goes on. I know all the sales. I check up the statistics. I get reports. I know all the ins and outs, but I don't open the post. I don't know the little minutiae. I don't know if something broke or if so for instance, when I was last in, we got a new forklift truck. These things cost a fortune. I didn't know, and it's a lovely green one. The last one was orange, but I couldn't even tell you where we got it. But it happened. I didn't have to make the decision. How cool is that? How much does a fork truck cost? Yeah. The Owners Club is what I needed when I was growing up in business. It is like a mastermind. It's that help. It's that information from someone who's been there, done that, who can help you, who's on call to help. At the top, you don't have anyone to talk to. It's lonely. It is very lonely. When you've got problems, when you need something, when you've got a staff issue, who do you ask? You've only got other staff, you can't issue them, so you can't talk to them. Who do you ask? Who's had that problem? Do you ask your friends down a pub? How's that going to help? How encouraging have people been to you in family and in down the pub who are not in business? Did they all say, yeah, why don't you get a proper job? Yeah, so the Owners Club is all that. And it's the Owners Club Gold level. So, very simple. It is £29 per month. Yes. Why isn't it more? Because my mate, Michael Gerber, who's now a friend, he made me concentrate on my dream. I want anyone who was like me before in that 20 years to have access to this. If back then someone had said to me, well, try this, it's £100 a month or it's a £2,000 course, I would have said, well, maybe when I can afford it. You can afford £29 a month. And in fact, if you join, if you don't like it, I give you my personal guarantee. If you say in the first 30 days, in fact, take the whole 30 days, the whole month, I'll give you your money back. It's okay. It's okay. I'm on your side. But in all that time, you can get me one-on-one. You'll get Q&As, you'll get training, you'll get the Website 101 course is for sale for £299. That's included. So it's the Facebook 101, the Twitter 101, the LinkedIn 101. There's everything, there's years. I can help your business. And if you don't believe me, join, get me on that call, because we're going to concierge on board you. We're going to help you make the most. It's not just me, by the way, there's a team. But get me on a call and let me prove I can help your business. It's going to be good. Simple as that. Oh, and if you want to know how to get there, just go to, you can go to theownersclub.co. Ta-da! If you're also worried, we have a phone number in the UK. We have an office address. Amazing. People with internet stuff don't have things like that. You can phone up. Go to that website, go and have a look. theownersclub.co. Simple as that. £29 a month. That's it. And whatever you pay now, if it ever goes up, that's the amount you pay. Your price will never go up. You'll permanently pay that forever. Thank you for listening. By the way, if you want to know how tough it is to run a business, listen to tomorrow's podcast, because I interview Rand Fishkin. Yes, him of Moz.com. $40 million business. Little bit more than me. But you listen, because it's not going to talk about SEO, it's going to talk about how Rand built the business and the trials and tribulations thereof. You'll love it. I'll see you on the inside.